Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hairy Muppet. Welcome back to another Hairy Masters game. I'm actually casting it 4:30 in the afternoon on Sunday, and usually I try and get it out at Sunday night, but I don't know if I'll be able to. It's just crap happening all over the place. So anyway, let's go and start checking out this game. Down the bottom left side of the map is Mr. Tefel. He is 27 years of age from Poland, plays for the Team Dignitatus. And I always seem to think it's Team Dignitatus or something like that. Whenever I look at it, it's just one of those things that goes off in your head. But it is Team Dignitas, definitely is. And his opponent up the top right side of the map, it is Mr. NightEnD, 27 years of age, from Romania, plays for the Neurosoft team. And surprisingly, this game was actually captured like a year ago. And these two guys are actually still part of the same team, so they have not moved team, which is, yeah, pretty awesome. So both of these players in their team for, well, Tefel was been in his team from 2012, NightEnD from sometime in 2014. So yeah, very, very early stuff. There are a few players out there who seem to change their teams like twice a year or something over the period of like 4 or 5 years, but there's some players that just get in one team and then they just stay there, like, just forever. And it's obviously their team is just very happy with them, and they're very, very happy with their team, which is awesome. I mean, it's fine if you got one of those players who's like, yeah, starts off in a small team and then he just explodes and he's suddenly jumping into the big teams like the Korean teams or Team Liquid or something like that. But it's not so good when you've got one of those guys who, you know, he's jumped from team to team to team, and you look at his profile and it's like, oh, this guy was caught cheating, or this guy was caught being rude and swearing at one of the announcers or swearing at the players or something. And you're looking at that and you're like, yeah, he's always good at Starcraft, but he's not so good at, you know, being nice to other people. But there you go. I'm sure there are dicks in every sport. So Starcraft is something just beeped, but it's not my phone. I don't know what it is. There's like random things beeping in my house. Anyway, let's get on to the game. We got a nice fast third coming out from Mr. Tefel. In terms of tech structures, not really seeing much going on. We've got a lair, we've got a spawning pool with the link speed, so it looks like it's going to be links harassment in the early game, and then tech switching up to something else. Gez Protoss? Not exactly sure, because, yeah, Mutiling is interesting. Looks like roaches are coming out, so what's the normal thing for Gez Protoss? I keep forgetting all my builds. I'm just not been playing this game as much, but I guess stuff like I know Ling Hydra Corruptor is a very, very strong strategy, but it doesn't look like that's going to be it here. So maybe just going to be roaches and then going into some sort of mass air strategy or something like that later on at the end of the game, because yeah, really not sure at this point. Here we go. Nice little bit of work from the Oracle and the Mothership Core. Do manage to take out the Queen, but does manage to save the Oracle in the end. That Oracle was very, very close to dying, but not going to be able to do it. And the Mothership Core in danger now with 2 Queens on it, is going to be running away. The Oracle running all the way around the backside. You'll be very, very careful, because the Queen could easily take this out, but there is no Queen here. It looks like he moved the Queen down to help out with something else. There we go. The shields that the Oracle managed to build up rapidly disappearing. Needs to get the hell out of there, because that guy is looking very, very close to dying, and so is the Mothership Core. So a lot of nice little poking around from NightEnD. Managed to kill a Queen and managed to annoy the hell out of Tefel at the same time, but Tefel is going to be jumping back in here. And it looks like he's finding out the hard way that it is completely blocked here, not going to be able to get in. And there are a bunch of zealots waiting for him. So, yeah, it's not going to happen. So far in this game, NightEnD looking not really too far ahead, but he's definitely looking ahead. Behind on workers, of course, but not as much as he might have feared. There we go. Now he's behind as much as he would have feared. So 10 workers, very, very nice. Got a nice little Oracle over there. Not really shooting anything. Managed to get 2 kills. Must have killed a worker at some point. Or maybe a Link, because of course nobody really gives a crap about Link. The Overlord is going to spot the Void Ray coming out. Very, very nice. So that's a nice little bit of intel to know that Void Rays are out on the map. The Link's moving around. I think they've got some sort of plan to stop the third base from coming down. So far, not doing a bad job, but it looks like a third base may be going down pretty soon. NightEnD has the minerals for it, so may be thinking about that sort of stuff. And his worker count is not too bad, 56 under 69. Obviously, Tefel doing a great job at getting his workers up. And he's actually got this nice fourth base coming up over there as well as a 10-minute mark. There we go, forcing the cancel on the third base. Very, very, very nice. That's 100 minerals down the drain, but NightEnd's got to put it straight back up. And I'm not sure whether Tefel can do that again. It's going to be a little bit dicey. Got a nice observer there. Couple of hallucinated Phoenix for some scouting. He's thinking about it, but the wall is up. There's a very, very nice wall that's just been built here, and it's going to be very, very hard for Tefel to get in there. I don't think he can get around the side, around here and through this mineral gap there. I don't think it's going to happen. You have to go this way, and that way is death. And the first Colossus actually out on the map for Mr. NightEnD. So looking very, very nice for him so far. We do have a whole bunch of crazy stuff coming out for Tefel. We've got Hydras. We've got, what are these things called again? Infestors. Oh, man. And, yeah, I would not be surprised to see Corruptors at some point with this army composition that he's currently coming out with. So that will be really, really awesome. He's going for it again. No, he might be able to get in there, but he'd lose most of these forces right now. And, I mean, throwing the Lings away, not a major problem, but throwing the Roaches away might be a little bit dicey. He might definitely need those Roaches at some point in the future. So we'll just have to see how he goes. A lot of Infestors coming out here. And there we go. Ultraless Cabin coming out. Force of Ultras. Surprisingly, no air units coming out at all. You definitely need to have some sort of angle when there's Colossus out there. And, I mean, Corruptors are really the only way to go. I don't know if there's any other units that can really deal with the Colossus. I mean, you've got Vipers. Vipers, fair enough, so he's probably thinking about Vipers, but he hasn't built any. I don't think you need a spy. You just need like a hive to get them. So he should be able to get them because he does have a hive, but he just hasn't been building them yet. And you really want to build up the Vipers as early as possible so that they start to get their energy regeneration going. Maybe he's just going for a just balls to the wall, break everything sort of attack. So they're trying to get a ton of Ultras as fast as he possibly can and just go in and just smash everything and just take NightEnD by surprise. NightEnD, I'm not sure how he's going to do against a massive amount of Ultras. So there's no Immortals in his army, which is unfortunate. We've got a few Colossus, but they're kind of nah. The Archons, not be too bad, and he does have a few of those, so that will be fine. But we'll have to see. Here we go. The main army is moving up. As soon as the Ultras come out, I'm guessing Tefel is just going to move in and just start smashing everything. He's going to try and win the game right here. As you can see by the time bar down the bottom, it's obviously not going to finish here. Unless it's one of those stupid games where they just sit there for 20 minutes afterwards. Here we go. Nice little scout. Does see the army. Does see every unit in there. Oh, the Oracle's coming down. Gets the vision. Sees the Ultra. And suddenly NightEnD knows what the plan is. There we go. Bunch of Lings coming across here. Don't know what they're going to be doing quite yet, but there is no hiding the Ultras from Mr. NightEnD anymore. He sees everything, and you're just going to have to see how he handles this massive invasion that's going to be going on here. Let's see. I mean, the Void Rays, he's got a couple of Void Rays. I think he's had those forever, but they are going to be extremely helpful against the Ultras. Here we go. Nice little slowdowns as well. He's going to lead him into this gap. And Ultras are very, very beefy, so they don't fit well into gaps. And we can see one or two Ultras going down already. They're still trying to do something here, but they are getting stuck in that gap, and the 4 Colossus are wearing them down. It's not taking too much to actually wear them down. With 4 Colossus and only 1 Ultra able to make it through that gap at a time is very, very nasty, but they've managed to knock a hole in the backside here. The Ultra is going after the workers. Look at these guys with the fungal growth on them. Beautiful. So I don't know if he's going to have enough damage to actually take this out. He's killed a lot of workers. 49 under 75, so that's good for Tefel, but there's not much else which is good for Tefel at the moment. He didn't kill the Nexus. He didn't really wipe out any serious amount of NightEnd's army. I mean, he did some work, but he mainly just killed like Zealots and stuff like that, and maybe a couple of Void Rays. He didn't really kill the core Colossus army. and that is definitely going to suck. So some Vipers would have been very, very helpful there. Obviously realizing that, and he is going to be getting a couple of Vipers now. Just yank those Colossus right into the maws of the Ultralisks, and he may have just completely won the game there if he had Vipers. It's a bit tough to tell, but I would have said, yeah, there's a very, very decent chance he could have won the game if he had the Vipers. So that is what he's getting right now. He's building a whole bunch of stuff, looking for a 4th base, not going to be finding it. So right now, NightEnD only on 3 bases, which is definitely good for Mr. Tefel, because he can just continue to macro out a huge army, continue to get a ton of everything and just go nuts on it. And I mean, he's looking good. NightEnd's looking good at the moment, but his work account has been knocked back. So I guess that's actually going to slow down the rate at which he knocks these bases down. So he's not going to need a 4th for even longer, given how many workers he's lost. But of course, he's trying to get as many workers as possible, as fast as possible. Starting to see some Immortals coming out as well. That's the first Immortal. Would not be surprised to see some more. Here we go, a bunch of Zealots coming in, but Spine Crawlers and some Reinforcing Lings. More than enough to take these guys out. They actually did quite a bit of damage to this Ultralist, but he's got more than enough health to just regen it and just move on. So here we go, ton of Ultras, Vipers as well, pretty much the same army as before. And we'll see if Tefel can do any better this time. He'll be going for this 3rd base again. I think he's waiting patiently for NightEnD to get that 4th base so that he can go destroy it, but NightEnD is not going for that 4th base. He's just not doing it. And I'm not sure that Tefel wants to go for this base again, because it's just going to be very, very hard to get in there. We've just got a ton of Archons. So Archon's obviously a very, very good damage soaking unit, especially against the Ultras. And a couple of Immortals are coming out. He's got 2 and he's building a 3rd one, which is going to be beautiful. Upgrade wise, he's got 3 weapons versus Tefel's 2-3 for the Ultras, which is, yeah, very, very nice for both players. But those Ultras, man, the Colossus is going to be doing a crap ton of damage. Hasn't closed this gap up, actually. He's just sort of left it open. And here we go, a bunch of Lings coming in. There we go. They managed to get it into the worker line. I'm not sure if they're actually meant to kill workers or if they're just meant to free up supply here. Probably a combination of both. And there we go. Look at Tefel going nuts on the expansions over here. Really, really going absolutely bonkers. But NightEnD is aware of what's going on and is going to be taking out this one. Does he know about this other one though? Does not. So if he knew about that one, he might have moved the Warp Prism up here, taken that out. Unfortunately, did not know and did not manage to kill this one. But this guy will be warping in some more Zealots to finish that off in just a second, which is very, very nice. Gonna absolutely make sure. May even go down to this base a little bit, but yeah, looks like he's going all the way down to this one. So that should be interesting. And we finally do have a 4th base coming down. Hopefully, Tefel does keep an eye on that and does manage to scout that and take it out. Nice, very nice. Some Ultras just getting constantly spawned from every base, easily taking care of all that stuff. Oh, unfortunately doesn't have any direct anti-air, but a couple of infested Terrans should finish that off very, very nicely. And the creep spread really, really getting really far out across the map. He's almost crept his way to the 4th base, and it looks like I would not be surprised if Tefel just goes nuts here and decides to go for it. NightEnD going to sort of do a side flank, top flank, and Tefel is just like, screw it, I'm going to go for your 3rd base again. See how you like them apples. You've got a pylon in there, but the pylon's going to get down very, very fast. Is he going to get an Ultra in there? Doesn't look like he is. He's going to fall back and, yeah, put a fungal down, but then just get the hell out of there. So obviously not willing to go nuts into that army. He's going to fall back a bit, maybe think about having a crack here, but those Colossus are very, very dangerous, as we saw before. And surprisingly good at actually taking Ultras out. And the Archon's just soaking up so much damage, but there's just so many Ultras in this map. They're almost through the Archons, and they're actually, NightEnD held on beautifully then. Absolutely beautifully. So there's damage soaking units, the Archons, and even the Immortals to some extent really, really held on there. And the Colossus just did so much damage. This early level 3 weapons from NightEnD is really, really paying off at this point in the game. I would not be surprised to see something like shields come out for him. Just based on how well the Archons are doing for him, getting level 1 shields would be an awesome, awesome advantage at this point. But he has not got it yet, so we'll have to see what he does here. We're starting to see air weapons coming out from Mr. Tefel. Has he got any air units? He does have one Mutalisk, but he's upgrading a Greater Spire right now, so probably thinking about some Brood Lords or something like that. Just go for a maxed out tier 3 army just for the hell of it. Got some good old-fashioned Ling Harass in the mineral line. Looks like a whole bunch of workers are going to be dying, and Tefel once again just owning a whole bunch of workers. But still, NightEnd still sort of holding on, still doing a pretty good job. Man, this would be amazing if Broodlords just rolled up there and just absolutely wiped out anything. It's the best attack for a Broodlord, I reckon. We'll have to see when this Greater Spire comes out, if that's what he's going to be doing. I mean, Tefel is just amazingly in the lead in terms of army numbers. He does have a fair amount of Lings, which he just throws into the meat grinder every now and then. So he has been losing quite a lot. 21 over 19. Not as much as I would have thought. Only 1,500, which is not that much. But here, oh man. Is he going to get a surround with the Ultras? He's thinking about it. There was a position where he might have got a better surround than he is now, but he didn't quite realize the Protoss army was sort of running up the side with him. So now he's just going to be getting the hell out of there. Gets stuck on the corner a bit and takes a couple of hits. And once again, in with the Lings. Look at all of these workers just... Oh, sorry, my cough is really bad today. But look at all those workers that just went down here. And it looks like NightEnd may be getting a little bit out of his comfort zone to go and take these guys out, because he's really, really losing so many workers. The Link's completely surrounding here, the Muta helping out as well. It looks like that base is going to go down, and this is really a case of NightEnd just had his core army, his core Colossus and stuff like that, and that sort of carried him through the game for so long, but now it looks like he's in a very, very bad position. He can't just macro his way out of this. He definitely needs to start doing some damage. And it looks like he may get the chance here. Look at this base, completely undefended. Whole bunch of workers mining there. Tefel is going to come up behind him and maybe able to snipe some Colossus here. That would be really, really awesome. So NightEnd's got to be very, very worried about getting hit in the backside and losing those Colossus. Does manage to hold it together and kill all of the workers there. Very, very nice. Knocked it down to 50 over 34, which is much better. We're going to warp in back to this army. Tefel about to absolutely wipe this base off the map. Now has to rethink that and back off. And the game is going to go on, I guess. NightEnd sort of evening it out a little bit after losing all of those workers. Enough that he's still in the game. But right now he's still... I don't know. I mean, Tefel is kind of not looking a lot better. He's got a ton of gas income, but here we go. He got a very, very nice little surround there. Not a complete surround, unfortunately, but enough to really take a lot of Archons out. But Tefel, man, this is a very, very expensive proposition for him. He's still only $1,500 behind. I guess the fact is he's losing all these Ultras, but he's killing all these Archons, and Archons aren't exactly cheap either. So kind of work it out, but a base about to go down here. And Tefel cannot do anything to save these guys, and that is just going to hurt really, really badly. That's the downside of being the Zerg player. He's just been expanding so much, mining so much, that he's forced to expand out to areas where it's very, very hard to defend. Whereas NightEnd, he's just got this base, and it's a lot easier to defend. It's a lot closer. But it looks like, are we going to be taking this out? What is Tefel doing? I think he was going for this base, but he just realized there's not actually anything there, so he's going to be falling back, and he's not actually going to be attacking this base. So too many Archons and Zealots and stuff like that. I'm sure the Ultras could have broken through them, but he's probably just like, yeah, there's just going to be a mass recall. It's not going to matter, so he's not going to bother doing that. Oh, yeah, but just holding on, getting some more Corruptors, getting the Broodlords out. How is this army going to do against Broodlords? Not that good. All they've got is the Archons to do anti-air. So I have a very, very bad feeling about NightEnd's chances in a upcoming major battle. Here we go. The Broodlords coming in. The Archons are suddenly like, oh crap, there's Broodlords. He's just going to be using the Broodlords to take care of the Archons. Very, very nice micro there. And trying to keep the Archons away from the Broodlords and just take them out. And once the Archons all die, NightEnd is completely screwed here. Absolutely screwed. But those Archons are faster than the Broodlords, and they're actually just going full-on chasey mode here. And the Broodlords are actually starting to go down just from Archon fire. So that really, really sucks. This would not be a bad idea to attack, but the problem is the Archons could turn around in half a second and take out those Broodlords. But he's going to go for it anyway and see exactly what he can do. There we go. The Archon's coming back to chase after the Broodlords, and it's just tough. Very, very tough. So, a bunch of Infestors just in the middle of nowhere. Here we go, but there's only 2 Archons left, and once those 2 Archons go down, the Broodlords can just do whatever the hell they want to this entire army. Here we go, 1 Archon going down, the other Archon in the middle of the base, but I don't think it really matters about that 1 Archon anymore. Broodlords starting to have a crack at the main units. The Ultra's almost taken out, but the Broodlords still going strong here. And this is going to be it. I mean, we're going to have to see a Mothership call recall just to get the hell out of there, because it's not going to happen. There we go. Recalling the hell out of there, but this army is looking quite abused at this point. And there we go. A whole bunch of Stalkers coming out. Blink research start at this late 32-minute mark of the game. And the Broodlords definitely shown to be a threat so far, but NightEnD going to be countering them quite nicely. Now let's have a look at the economic status here. So both players are about the same. NightEnD 15 workers behind. We've got this base pretty much mining, this base not really. And he's got another base coming up there, but so far we have been having quite a lot of Tefel's bases being taken out. And NightEnD hasn't really been building too many bases, but he has been losing a couple every now and then. Has managed to keep this one alive, which I'm sure he's very thankful for. But, I mean, other than the first 2 bases, he's basically just got this 3rd. He holds on to that. And he's got the 4th, and he just holds on to it. He doesn't really sort of spread himself out, which does sort of not allow him to get a ton of everything going. But he still can do what he needs to do just off that 1 base. And that's probably good enough. So here we go. Tefel get a ton more Broodlords out. And we do have a ton of Stalkers here, absolute ton. Blink is going to be finished nice and early. What have we got versus Stalkers? We do have Fungal Growth, which is going to be quite nice. Get a good fungal on them before they blink. And then the Broodlords can safely take them out without having to worry about the blink. There we go, beautiful fungal. The Broodlords are going to work. The Stalkers starting to take some damage, starting to get fungal. We got some infested Terrans coming down there as well. The Corruptors trying to take out the Colossus, not quite getting it done, but the Stalkers never have really gone in close. There they go, now they're going close. We got some beautiful fungals. The Broodlords are going to make a move to get the hell out of there, and retreating when the base is right there, obviously not a good place to be in. But the Stalkers, are the Stalkers going to last long enough? They're going down very fast. The Broodlords, all they need to do is kill 4 more Stalkers and the Broodlords will be able to wipe out the rest of this army. Are they going to be able to do it? They're down to 2 Broodlords. Stalker reinforcements coming down. That is not good news for Mr. Tefel. This base is going to go down, and I think that's pretty much it. So the Broodlord gamble has failed. NightEnD with some Stalkers going out there has done a beautiful job, and yeah, obviously just wasn't going to work at that stage, but fantastic job from both players. Very, very well done to NightEnD, just sticking with that core of Colossus and just putting whatever the hell he needed on the surround to get the job done. And yeah, just a fantastic job. I don't think he really lost many. I mean, look at the kills on these guys, 73, 75. He only lost 1 Colossus the entire game. These 4 were like the first 4 that he built, and they stayed alive so freaking long during this game. So really good job. Really solid job from NightEnd's point of view. I mean, Tefel didn't really go for a ton of Corruptors at any point in the game, so he sort of made it a little bit easy on NightEnd to keep those guys alive, which is interesting. Normally you'd go for a ton of Corruptors. Tefel went for a ton of Ultras instead. Didn't really work as well as the Corruptors would have, especially against this solid core of Colossus. So there we go. Didn't really work out, and what can you say? Congratulations to NightEnd for winning this game. I do hope you enjoyed this game, and I'll catch you guys next week for another one. Stay tuned.